Now, we will solve some another problem which is little bit complicated than this previous problem. So, in previous problem we have seen the eccentrically loaded bracket is subjected to 2 weld only, but here let us consider the eccentrically loaded bracket which is subjected to, which is shown in this figure, you can see, which is subjected to 3 different weld, okay, 3 different weld, 2 vertical welds, 2 vertical weld, here this is one vertical weld, this is another vertical, so this is vertical weld 1 and this is vertical weld 2. Now, and another horizontal weld is also there which I am representing W3. So, if the welding is done like this in this bracket, now what should be the dimension of this weld, that we have to find out. Dimension of the weld means here also we have to find out what is the throat thickness T, throat thickness T we have to find out, and also we have to find out leg length H. Here what are the things given? Here the eccentric load. So, here the eccentric load P is given as 25 kilonewton. So, here given data is, you can say given data is P equal to 25 kilonewton, and also here permissible shear stress of the weld material, here you should keep it in mind. So, this is the permissible shear stress of weld material, that is why we are finding out the weld resultant shear stress, weld material resultant shear stress. Okay. So, tau P is given as 55 MPa. So, what are the things required to do? Here we have to find out throat thickness T and leg length H. So, here also we will use similar thing. So, similar types of steps here will follow, but here you will get little bit more fundamental concept from here, that I am going to show. So, here now I am going to solve this problem. So, here there are 2 vertical welds, you can say vertical weld W1 and W2, you can see here, and one another horizontal. So, here I am writing this is this V1 and V2 vertical weld, horizontal weld here is horizontal weld here is W3. Okay. Now, here we can see by symmetry the center of gravity CG of the weld is midway between the vertical weld. Vertical weld, that we can see. This way I am just represented this, let this is our x axis and let this is our y axis. Okay. So, with respect to x axis, what should be the CG point of this G? First of all, this we have to find out, and with respect to this y axis, with respect to this x axis and with respect to this y axis, what is the CG distance? So, from here we can easily see the CG with respect to y is mid length of this horizontal weld. So, here we can easily find out by this above condition, that means by symmetry of this vertical weld W1 and W2, the CG of the weld is midway between the vertical weld. First of all, it is the midway of this 2 vertical weld, you can say. So, this is generally, so here we can say here x bar will be equal to your, here x bar equal to, we can write as 50 millimeter, that from the symmetry itself you can say. So, whatever the x bar here is given, this x bar is 50 millimeter, but here we have to find out what is y bar. What is y bar? That means first of all we have to find out what is the G. G means location of CG of wall weld. So, G coordinate is x bar and y bar. So, x bar is very well known due to symmetric of two vertical weld. We can easily calculate this x bar, which is equal to 50 millimeter. Now, we will go for finding out what is y bar. So, for finding out the y bar, we have to use principle of first moment of area, you can say principle of first moment of area. This principle we can use. What does it tells? Moment of sum equal to your sum of moment. This you should keep it in mind. This is the principle of first moment of area. Generally, these types of principle generally we can use. So, moment of sum means moment of all weld we will here consider. So, for finding out y bar, we have to take moment with respect to x axis. So, here we have to take moment with respect to x axis, considering weld has unit length. Initially we are considering, or we can say we are neglecting the throat thickness with comparison of length of the weld. That is why here we are generally neglecting this dimension for calculation of what it is called y bar and x bar value. So, here moment of sum, here you can say moment of sum means sum of all area. Here sum of all area we can write as 150 into T plus 2 vertical weld whose length is 150 into T, this 2 vertical weld, plus on horizontal weld is there, that is 100 into T, because let us consider the throat thickness of this wall weld is T. Okay. So, this is the sum of all area, sum of all area. So, its moment of sum of all area means let us moment of sum will be let us y bar. All areas moment is y bar into summation of all area. This will be equal to your sum of moment. Sum of moment means individually we will find out the moment of weld, okay, with respect to this x axis. So, you see with respect to this x axis the weld here, let us this is our weld, first weld moment will be how much? The first weld moment will be, first weld area is 150 into T, and from this x axis the distance of this CG distance of this first weld is 150 by 2, 150 by 2. So, this is the first moment of area plus second weld W2, it has also 150 into T, and CG distance from this x axis, CG distance of this x axis is 150 by 2 again here, and this horizontal weld what we can say 100 into T, and here generally its CG distance is generally T by 2. So, here what we can say as this third term, that is horizontal welds, it has a term with T square. That is why these things we are neglecting here, we are neglecting this third term, because compared to this other two this is negligible. That is why here we are neglecting this term. So, here what we are getting, here we are getting y bar equal to 56.25 mm. So, the coordinate of g we are getting as g equal to generally with respect to this x axis and y axis. So, x bar equal to your 50 and y bar we are getting as 56.25. This with respect to what? With respect to you can say x and y axis. This you should keep it in mind. So, we get this x bar y bar with respect to x axis and y axis. Now, we can easily find out what is E. So, here itself we are finding out what is E. So, E is the, this is the position of load O. So, you see, so the perpendicular distance between this load P to CG distance. From here to this weld it is 100 is given, from here to here this 100 mm is given, and from here to here is the mid length, already I have shown, this is 50. So, here how much E we are getting? So, here eccentric distance, position of applied load P, that is equal to your G into O, perpendicular distance. This should be the perpendicular distance. Here always here I am writing GO, here in this way we are writing. So, GO is the perpendicular distance. So, GO equal to here is 100 plus 50, that means 150 millimeter. Now, we will go for finding out first primary shear stress, then secondary shear stress, then resultant shear stress. Okay. So, what is primary shear stress? Now, the one by one step we will follow. So, here first of all finding out the primary shear stress. So, what is primary shear stress? Here the primary shear stress equal to tau 1, which is equal to your P by this applied load, that is P by what is called total cross sectional area of all weld. So, total cross sectional area of all weld and P is known to us. So, here P is 25 kilonewton. So, 25 kilonewton into 1000, this is in Newton, and its cross sectional area is 150 into T, one vertical weld, this is another vertical weld area plus 100 into T. So, this will give us this primary shear stress equal to, we can say 62.5 divided by 62.5 divided by T. This is Newton per mm square. This is primary shear stress. Now, what is secondary shear stress? Now, we will go for finding out secondary shear stress. Secondary shear stress. So, what is secondary shear stress? So, secondary shear stress tau 2. So, here tau 2 will be equal to our couple m into R max, this you should keep it in mind, divided by J, polar moment of inertia of all weld, polar moment of inertia of all weld. This we have to find out. So, here polar moment of inertia of all weld and R max we have to find out. Here you can see as G is in this location. So, the farthest location of weld is either this point or this point, what I am telling, understand that you can see. So, because this G is mid way of this horizontal weld length, you can say. So, this farthest point either this A or B location. So, here let us consider here this farthest location is A. So, if the farthest location is A, so GA, so R max will be how much here? R max will be your GA. So, GA we can easily find out. Let us I am drawing a perpendicular, this is GM and A. So, from the triangle, GMA, we can easily find out what is R max. So, R max will be equal to our G into A, which is equal to our GM square plus MA square, because this is the hypotenuse of that triangle GMA, correct. So, we can easily find out what is R max. So, here R max will be our what is GM. So, GM we can easily find out what is this GM. GM equal to your our 150 minus this y bar plus MA is equal to generally half of the horizontal weld length, that is 50 square. So, this we can get as 150 minus y bar is how much? Y bar is given, that is 56 56.25, which I have already calculated in previous slide. So, here we are getting R max equal to, we can easily see this calculated value is 106.25 millimeter. So, R max is known to us, M is also known to us. What is M? So, M is equal to our P into E, this is also known to us. P is 25 kilonewton, 25 into 1000, this is in Newton, and E is also known to us, E is equal to our 150. So, this P E we are getting as 375,000 Newton millimeter. Now, another term is there, that is called J. This J we have to find out. So, J equal to what? J equal to, or you can say J is the polar moment of inertia with respect to G. Jg equal to Jg of first weld plus Jg of second weld plus Jg of third weld. Now, we can see this Jg1 and Jg2 are symmetric with respect to this G, correct. So, we can say Jg1 equal to, we can say Jg1 equal to your Jg2. So, what should be the relationship with area and Jg1, that means other dimension with Jg1, that is very well known to us. So, here I am not again going to derive that formula, here I am directly applying this formula. So, here the Jg1 or Jg2 will be the area of that weld about this throat cross section, because we are calculating the polar moment of inertia of all throat cross sectional area of weld. That is why here we are considering this throat cross sectional area of this weld 1 or 2, both have same cross section, that is why A1 I have written. This into length of this weld 1 or 2, L square by 12 plus this R1 square. What should be the R1 square? R1 square is the distance between this G and G1. G1 what? In this figure itself you can see this G1 is the CG of weld 1 about its own axis. What I am telling, understand, about its own axis. As this weld is rectangular in nature, that is why its G1 will be midway of this vertical weld length. So, you can say from here to this G1 distance from here to here, this G1 distance will be how much? 150 by 2, correct. Now, we have to find out what is Jg1. Jg1 how we can find out? So, for finding out Jg1 you can easily see. So, Jg1 we can easily find out what is Jg1. Here I am just taking let G1, I am taking another point N here. So, from triangle what is called G N G1 you can write, from triangle JGE1 we can easily find out what is JG1. So, JG1 equal to what? R1, this equal to a square root of what? You can say NG1 square plus Gn square, correct. So, what is NG1? NG1 is very well known to us, that is our 150 by 2 minus we can say y bar, and Gn is what? Gn equal to is given is the mid length of this horizontal weld, that is 100 divided by 2, this square. So, y bar is known to us, this is 56.25, y bar equal to your 56.25 millimeter. If y bar is 56, then R1 we are getting as 53.4 millimeter. So, whatever the R1 we will get, so this JG1, so here JG1 equal to we can say JG2. So, here we can say this whatever the distance here we will get JG2, this is let us R2, okay, this is let us R2 and let this is R1. So, R1 equal to here R2. So, here by putting this R1 A and L value, we are getting in equation number, let this is equation number 1. In equation number 1, if we put this because here L is 150 millimeter, R1 is equal to 53.4 millimeter and A1 equal to A2 equal to you can say L length of this vertical weld into T. So, length of the vertical weld is 150 and T is the thickness. So, by putting all these value in this equation 1, so by this all parameter from equation 1 we can get J1 equal to JG1 instead of J1, here I am writing JG of weld 1 equal to JG of weld 2 will be equal to, directly I am just putting these things by equation 1, whatever the magnitude we are getting, directly I am showing this thing, we are getting the value of JG1 and JG2 equal to 708,984 T, 708,984 T millimeter to the power 4. So, JG1, JG2 we got, now we have to find out what is JG3. So, JG3 we can easily find out for JG3, JG3 is already known to us, this is actually our y bar, because here you can see this distance is lying in same line. So, this JG3 equal to for JG3 the distance between G and G3 is y bar. So, we can easily find out what is JG3. So, JG3 will be equal to area of third weld into length of third weld L square by 12 plus JG3 square. So, by putting all these value, this A3 is 100 into T, because this is 100 into T is given, L3 is 100 square by 12 plus JG3 is 56.25 square. By putting all these things here, we are getting JG3 equal to 399,704 T, 399,704 T. This is also millimeter to the power 4. So, what we are getting? So, JG3 is known to us, JG1 and JG2 also known to us. So, now we can easily find out what is resultant or you can say total polar moment of inertia. So, total polar moment of inertia we can easily find out, that is JG1 plus JG2 plus JG3. So, by adding all these three value which we have calculated earlier, we are getting as 18,17,708 T millimeter to the power 4. Always you should keep it in mind. So, here how much tau 2 max we are getting? So, tau 2 max we are getting as m into r max divided by jg r, you can say. Okay. So, here we are getting all the value, m is known to us, r is known to us. So, m is known as, directly I am putting 375,000, r max is given 106.25 and Jg resultant is also given. Just now I have shown you 1817708T. So, by this we are getting this equal to how much? 219.2 divided by T. This unit is Newton per millimeter square. So, tau 2 max is also known to us. So, in this here also we will use same thing, whatever the things we use previously, but here we have to find out the angle between this resultant what is called angle between this tau 2 max with horizontal axis. So, find out the angle between this what is a tau 2 max and G horizontal axis. Here we have to follow some step that I am just going to show. So, here you can see this is one vertical weld, this is another vertical weld, So, here this is G. So, here we know this is the farthest distance we consider, that this is our A location. So, here we know that as this M is acting in this direction. So, here the direction of tau 2 will be opposite to this. So, tau 2 max will be opposite to this. So, here to find out the horizontal component of this tau 2 and vertical component of this tau 2, we have to find out what is this theta angle. So, to find out the theta angle, what we will find? We will first find out what is the angle phi here. So, we can easily find out what is the angle phi here. So, to find out the angle phi here, what we can use? Here we can use tan phi equal to, we can say Gm divided by Ma. So, Gm is very well known to us. Gm is we know 150 minus 56.25 divided by Ma is already midway of this horizontal weld. So, from here we can easily find out what is phi. So, phi we are getting as, directly I am just showing, then it will be direct value here I am showing. Here phi we are getting as 61.93 degree. So, we can easily find out what is theta. You can say this is 90 degree. So, you can say phi plus 90 degree plus theta equal to 180 degree. So, as phi is given as 61.93 plus 90 degree plus theta. So, we can easily find out what is theta. So, theta here we are getting as 28.07 degree, 28.07 degree. So, as theta is known to us and tau 2 is known to us, now we can easily find out. So, here let this point A, in this point A, so this tau 1 is known to us. So, tau 1 is equal to how much is given? Tau 1 is already have calculated, this is 62.5 divided by T. Then at point this A, this tau 2 generally which is acting in this horizontal axis as theta angle. So, tau 2 has two component, you can say this is, so on one horizontal component, this is tau 2 cos theta. So, on horizontal component, that is tau 2 cos theta, and on vertical component that will be tau 2 sin theta. So, by adding these things, what we can get? We can easily find out what is the resultant this component. So, here you see there is two vertical component of shear stress area, one is tau 1, another one is tau 2 sin theta, and in horizontal direction there is only tau 2 cos theta. So, by these two component we can easily find out what is the resultant shear stress at point A, that means maximum resultant shear stress you can say tau r. So, it is tau r we can easily find out. So, what is here tau r here? So, tau r maximum you can say will be equal to our, you can say this tau 1 plus tau 2 sin theta square plus tau 2 cos theta square, correct, square root of. So, from here we know everything. Tau 1 is known to us, tau 1 is 62.5 divided by t, tau 2 is tau 2 max, or you can say tau 2 is also known to us 219.2 divided by t, and theta is also known to us, theta is also 28.07. By using this parameter we are getting this tau 2 max is equal to, directly I am just putting this calculated value, then it will be more clear to you. So, tau 2 max here we are getting resultant tau r, that means here. So, here resultant tau max we are getting as, by putting all these things, 254.65 divided by t. Its unit is Newton per mm square. Now, this resultant shear stress should not exceed the permissible shear stress. So, by this concept generally we can find out the dimension of this weld. So, now the fourth step, the step you can say third or fourth step, whatever it is, the third step we have to find out the size of the weld. So, size of the weld, here we will use this tau p equal to your maximum resultant shear stress should be equal to. So, tau p is given as 55 MPa, 55 MPa. So, tau p is equal to 55 MPa. We know 1 MPa equal to 1 Newton per millimeter square. So, you can say Newton per mm square. So, 55 equal to, we can write as 254.65 divided by t, tau r max also given. From here we can easily find out what is the throat thickness of the weld. So, throat thickness of the weld we are getting as 4.63, or this we can equal to, you can consider as 5 mm. So, the leg length will be the leg length of the weld will be equal to A is equal to your T by 0.707. This will give us as approximately 7 millimeter. So, by this generally we can easily find out what is the dimension of weld. So, we are getting, so our final dimension of weld is equal to 5 millimeter, we can say, and A is equal to 7 mm. Okay. 7 mm. So, this is the design what it is called throat thickness and leg length. So, by this generally we can design a eccentrically loaded weld joint. Okay. So, these are the reference books which I have followed for this lecture. Thank you.